It can be so hard to know what to do in the face of the overwhelming world events going on these days. And I know as my heart is breaking, I long for relief from the heartbreak and imagining the heartbreak that so many others are facing in such an intense way. And a practice that is speaking to me lately is finding where in my heart am I hardening myself through blame or anger or hatred. These things are all on a spectrum, and so of course our blaming of others or ourselves is usually on a much smaller scale than the kind of hatred and need for revenge that we're seeing out in the world right now. But it's still on the same spectrum that if circumstances were extreme enough, that blame and that anger could move down that path to hatred as one possibility. And while this may seem small, it can be incredibly powerful to find the places that are stuck in us, where we've hardened our hearts, and open to the possibility that forgiveness of those who have hurt us, those we fear, that forgiveness in ourselves might have ripple effects in ways we don't know yet. So if this speaks to you, I invite you to settle, notice your body. Get comfortable in whatever way works for you. Inviting in softening, opening, connecting with the surfaces you're touching, allowing for more sensation, more touch with the chair, the floor, so that you are receiving more sensation. And more information. It's like softening your skin and your cells and your bones. So that they become ever more open to receiving. Almost as if the hard lines become blurred and your skin starts melting into the air around it. And it allows for expansion. And from here, opening to the earth, her deep frequency, her constant vibration. Her constant creative force. It's sending up energy to us all the time. Letting your body receive and open, take it in. And opening outward to the heavens, stars, space. It's full of plasma energy. Sending information to us, light waves, energetic waves. Being open to receiving them. And tuning into whatever guidance you connect with, whether that's God or energy or angels or ancestors or guides. I'm asking for help right now. We live in a culture that is full of blame. We blame ourselves for little mistakes, big mistakes. Blame is everywhere on social media and in the news. It fills the air. Hoping that the blame will somehow protect us, that we'll get it right, that we'll get it perfect, that it might protect us from hurts of all kinds, from little ruptures with people we love to protection from the biggest wounds possible, violence, death, betrayal. And so we need extra help from our allies. Those unseen forces that can hold us in our grief, that can shift things in ways that are mysterious to us. And letting your body soften and relax, knowing we have support. We're not doing this alone. There are many, many people sending up prayers of peace and love, healing. And so I invite you to think of or tune into or welcome the sensation of blame or hardness or anger, and see how that shows up in your body or around your body. It might be words, it might be pointing the finger at a certain person, it might be just a sensation in your body of hardness or turning away, cutting off. Or it might be along the spectrum of anger, of wanting to shake someone or punch someone or hurt someone. Letting that show up right now. Let it show you exactly how it feels when this feeling comes up. When you feel so bad. You've been so hurt. Somebody did you wrong, or maybe you wronged yourself. Sometimes these parts of us can go inward and outward. They blame us as inner critic type voices, or blaming or shaming voices that live in us. It's like turning the finger and waving it inward. And it might be that same part or a similar energy that turns outward and blames it on those around us, often the ones we love the most. And just for a few moments, If we can listen with love, what is it? What wants to be known here? What are these blaming and angry parts carrying? What do they really want heard right now? What do they want you to know? Their deepest longing for you to know. And now inviting in our wonderful forces that can help us with mysteries and magic, asking for help, seeing if it's possible that these angry parts or these blaming parts might soften any amount. Are they willing to give you any amount of relief from the anger? Could they, for a few moments, release their blame? It may not be forever. Often I find making an agreement with my parts something like, this is an experiment, we're just going to try it for a little bit and see what happens. Is there any willingness to experiment with softening, letting go? Maybe they're willing to let go of some old hurts, some old blames, some anger that's been in there a long time. And again, inviting in angels and guides and energy and God to help with this, because this is a big task, a big undertaking for the culture that we live in. It might feel like a big risk to even let go a tiny amount, a fraction of the anger. Or maybe it's softening for you. Maybe it's moving along easier than expected. And as it softens, what qualities do you want to invite in? Something along the lines of peace or forgiveness or love. What would that feel like if more of the peace, more love, more forgiveness could come in right now? Where does it want to come in? Where is it able to flow? Where is it able to move? And seeing if your body wants to move with this. There might need to be some shaking or stomping or stretching. Opening. And how much love can come in at this moment. How much peace can come into you at this moment. How much forgiveness can come in. And when that happens, what happens to the anger and the blame? And seeing what else is needed for this moment in time. Is there something to take forward into your day? Is there a commitment to this process? There's so much more hope available when we can soften into love and peace and forgiveness. And the practice is to keep coming back to those parts that hold the anger, that hold the resentment, the blame, the shame. Inviting them over and over again to show you what it is they're holding. And if they're willing to release any amount, and experimenting what happens inside you and in your relationships as you experiment with this listening process and inviting in love and peace. And there might be old energy that needs to come out. I did this a few days ago and really committed to some forgiveness in my life, and the next day I woke up more mad than ever. And that's the old energy coming out. It's coming to the surface, ready to be acknowledged and letting it go. So if you hold some deep anger, deep blame, which most of us do, this may be a continuous practice for a while. And thank you for sharing in this practice with me, and blessings to you and all those this practice might touch.